Why does your business need a payroll? And when I'm talking about a payroll, I'm actually not talking about the Excel or the manual system. I'm actually talking about an application. So why does your business need an application to process your payroll? This is because an application is going to help faster processing of the payroll, which means faster payment of employees, which it eliminates the errors and ensures that data is not manipulated at any given point. I have actually created a web application, which is a payroll system that your business needs to process its payroll and ensure faster processing of employees' salaries and ensure that taxes are accurately processed. And at the same time, the system can give you reports that you need to file your returns and actually make payment of taxes. So I want to demonstrate how the working of this web application. This specific web application can be used for a small business in Kenya. So the first thing that you can see over here is a very safe login that an administrator has to log into this payroll system. And I'm going to do exactly that. So after a successful login, you're going to be redirected to the dashboard. And on the dashboard, you can be able to see that you can be able to add employees. And but before we do add employees, because this system is already blank, does not have any data, the first thing that I need to add is actually to add positions. I need to add position to this system. Let's say, for example, a manager, a driver, a cook, or something like that. So I'm going to add a position which is called manager, the position name, and then you can describe the position if you wish to. I don't wish to describe the position. Then I'm going to save. You're able to see that the position manager successfully added to this system. Then the next thing, you can actually see the position over here. And if you choose to delete, you can actually do that. If you choose maybe to delete the position, you can actually do that. But in the meantime, we have position, which is manager. And the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to add an employee. So I'm going to add an employee over here. So you can be able to see the employees data. The first section, we are going to add the employees details. And then the next section, you can be able to add next of kin. As you can be able to see, at the moment, I'm using KCB as the bank, but this changes depending on your business. So I'm going to add an employee. And I'm going to say Patrick. I'm going to put a phone number over there, put an email. Let me just put a test email over there. And then I need a KRA pin. This KRA pin must be accurate. So I have some tests over here. Because if you put an inaccurate KRA pin, the system is going to throw in errors. So I need something that is accurate. And date of birth, let me put something I must be 18 years and above to manage to work. So I'm going just to guess a date. I'm going to say my date of birth is let's say 204. I think that is over 18 years, I guess. Position, you can be able to see the position that I actually added over here, that I added previously. So I'm going to select the position here. Then the amount of salary that I'm going to get paid, let's say it's 50,000. And then I need to add an SSF number. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to add that. So if I make a mistake, maybe I put something. Let me even make a mistake over there and even make another mistake over here. And let me select a branch. I'm going to say any branch because at the moment does not matter. Even for the bank account, I'm just going to put irrelevant figures. And you can move. I just want to show you how it throws errors. So the full name of this person is a test. And I'm going to say it's my parent. The phone number 07123456 and then 8. And then county, let me choose Kitui. This is just for test case. Let me just put a fee or something like that. Let me just get some figures and then I'm going to try and add this employee. You'll be able to see that the NSSF number format is invalid. And that happens for every field. So that means even if I try to add an invalid KRA, it's going to detect that. Can be able to see that the KRA is invalid. So I need to put something that is accurate. It's going to detect the SHA number is not okay. Able to see the SHA is invalid. So what I'm going to do, let me put a valid SHA number. and then I'm going to add. You can be able to see that an employee was added successfully. So at the moment, we have an employee in our company who is a manager. So that is the first step, that we have added the employee. And I'm going to refresh this, and I can be able, on the right side, you can be able to see employee highlights. So let me see what it's going to generate. So what this does is going to process a PDF with all active employees. So at the moment, you can be able to see the name, phone number, salary, and etc. like that. If I need to get the full employees details, I'm going to come to this place whereby I'm going to say employees detail, and then I can click over here. It's going to generate an Excel sheet, and you can be able to see the Excel sheet has been generated. And let's load the Excel sheet. Here's the Excel sheet, as you can be able to see, with all the full details of these employees. So that means that I can be able to download an Excel sheet to see all the employees in this company in an Excel sheet with all their details. So if I need to terminate someone, it's still over here on employees detail. I can be able to do that. I come over here, I can be able to even select the employee that I need. If there are so many, I can be able to type with their first name over here, and automatically it's going to show me. You can be able to search with anything, even the name, the ID. And if I wish to terminate, I'm going to terminate the employee. Yes, terminate. Let's say, for example, they are terminated. If I need to see the terminated employee, there's a section over here whereby we have terminated employees. And if I wish to see the terminated employees, I can actually get a PDF report. And if I need to maybe reinstate them, I can be able to click over here, and I can be able to reinstate them back. So that means that if I go to employees detail, I'll be able to see that employee. But if they are terminated, I can not be able to see them over here. So that is everything to do with employees. The next thing is actually processing of the payroll. But before we do that, there are a few things that we need to add. For example, I can show you how you can be able to change the employees' maybe salaries. Maybe if you wish to update, or maybe change their salary. Maybe let's say, for example, this guy, we need to add 5,000. The economy is so bad, and we need to add a new basic salary of 55,000. And let's say, okay, yes, you can be able to update that, and automatically you can be able to see the amount has changed. That is their current salary. And you can be able to search the employee over here using the ID and the name. So that means I can be able to update their salaries if maybe I wish to, or something like that. So the next thing that we can actually do is we can be able to add allowances. So for the allowances are not the same for every person, and allowances depend on the positions. Let's say, for example, we need to add transport. Transport is allowance, and the allowance code, I'm going to put 123. That is actually to refer to which transport you're talking about. And then I'm going to give them maybe 5,000. And then if you don't choose the category over here, and then I proceed to add, so that means I must be able to select the category over here. So the reason why you're seeing one position is because you only added one position. If you go back and decide to add another position, it's going to come over here, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another position. I'm going to add another position. I'm going to say a cook, and then I don't wish to describe. Then I'm going to add the position. The position has been added. So if I refresh this, you can be able to see the position. So if I need to come over here on the allowances, now I can be able to see the position, the cook. So that means that I can be able to assign. So here's a tricky part, because if I wish to allocate transport to every person over here, let me say this transport is 1, 2, 3, and I wish to allocate different amount to these people. If I select amount over here and just check the cook and the manager like that, that means the cook and the manager are going to receive an allowance of, let's put 5,000. But if I come over here and specify that cook is going to receive 2,000 as allowance, that means the amount is going, this amount will only belong to the manager. But I can also specify if I wish to. But if I don't, this will be picked as the default amount if I don't pick any amount, and I have already checked over here. I hope that is very, very clear. So I need to put cook to have 2,000 and the manager to have 5,000. I can even specify over here if I wish to. It's still the same. And if I leave it blank and I select over here, and that means it's going to pick this default amount. So these are the allowance that I need to add. I'm going to add, it's the same, but now the cook is going to receive an allowance of transport allowance of 2,000. The manager is going to receive the same transport allowance of 5,000. So let me add. That means that the allowance has been successfully added. I'm going to refresh this. So you can be able to see for the cook as a position, they have a transport allowance of 2,000, and the manager has a transport allowance for 5,000. If I wish to maybe to delete that that allowance is no longer needed, I have a delete button over here. But I'm not going to delete them because I need them. So the next thing that I need to add, we have recurrent deduction. By recurrent, I mean this is whereby maybe you agree, maybe every month you're going to be contributing maybe a welfare of 500 bob. That is what we call recurrent deductions. So let's say, for example, we add an welfare. Maybe every employee is going to be deducted 500 bob. And then I'm going to save the deduction. So that means the deduction has been saved. And then we have other types of deduction, which we call a one-time deduction. These are deduction based on maybe loan, maybe damage, advance, or maybe I was even thinking that you can maybe even add absent over here if an employee maybe missed or something like that. I need the payroll ID and I need the ID number. So let's say, for example, Patrick decided to pick a loan. The payroll ID is 70. And then we have the ID number over here, and then we have the deduction amount. Let's say, for example, this guy had picked a loan of 15,000. And then you have a rule. If you decide maybe your employees, if they have any damage or any type of deduction, they cannot access any other type of maybe loan. We have put that over here. So if an employee, on this case, if an employee has an advance, they cannot access a loan. The only thing that does not matter is the damage, because the damage has to be there whether you have a loan or not. But if you need to pick an advance, ensure that you don't have a loan or even a damage. If you need to pick a loan, ensure that you don't have an advance or even a damage. So let's put a date. It's today's date. And then reason it's loan. That means for the loan, I need to select the period. If I decide to submit like this, I need to describe it. I don't wish to describe it. You're able to see the period for loans is required must be positive number. That means that for loan, I must select the period, and this time is 3 months. It just depends on the business rule. If you give in loans, or maybe if you're in partnership with a bank or something like that, we have to import this rule over here. So I'm going to submit. You'll be able to see that the deduction has been added successfully. So that means I can also be able to see the deduction if I need a PDF or something like that, or the deduction within a particular month. So if I decide to give, they already have a loan. Let's decide to give them something else, an advance. We see if the system is going to allow that. Let's say 4,000, and let's select the date. We say that this guy, we're giving them advance, and I'm going to describe it. For advance, you don't need to input the period. Advance of 4,000. It means that the employees cannot be given an advance because they have unpaid deduction. So they cannot add a new loan or advance. But if I decide to add a damage, because damage is going to be added because you have to pay damage whether you have a loan or advance. It does not matter on this case. So if I decided to add a damage of 4,000, it's going to actually to be successful. You're able to see that you have actually successfully added deduction successfully. Okay, that is amazing. So this guy who is called Patrick, he has a loan of 15,000, which should be paid 5,000 every month. And then they have a deduction of advance of 4,000 as an advance. They also have a transport allowance. You can go to add as many allowances as you wish. So I'm going to come over here. So we can be able to process this payroll. But now, because the system is already it's already open. And let's go to download payslips. So this is how the system works. If you wish to be paying your employees between the date of the 1st and 10th, we're going to put a rule whereby this payroll cannot process if it's not that date. And it's going to process the payroll of the previous month in no other month. But this time, because it's for the test cases, we have been able to put it as open. So which month are we? We are on July. And I'm going to select the year and I'm going to process the payroll. I have to process the payroll every month. We can even put this automatic if someone wishes to. So the payroll has been processed. Can I process twice? No, you cannot process twice. It's already processed. So we have already processed the payroll. That means we can be able to pay our employees and can be able to generate the pay slips. So I can be able to download an individual pay slip over here. I need to see how much I need to, can be able, if an employee decide to approach you, and which month is that? July. The year is 2025. If I wish to do that, I can be able to download an individual payslip. Right away, I can be able to see the payslip of this person. As you can be able to see, the gross salary of this guy is 60,000. That means it is the basic salary, which is the 55,000 plus the transport allowance, which is 60,000. And then they have a transport allowance of 5,000. Can be able to see the deduction. The deduction, we have the SHA, which is 1650. We have NSSF, which is 3600. We have the housing, which is 900. We have pay, which is 8,538. They don't have an advance. We have a loan, which is the deduction of loan is 5,000 because it was 15,000 divided by 3. That is the rule of this business or the test case that you are working on. It just depends with the rule that you have in your business. Then we have an advance, which it is 0. They didn't ask for any advance. We have damage. Damage is actually processed, everything in that damage, unless the amount that is remaining. If an amount remain of it's above the net salary, it's going to be carried forward to the next month. In case maybe the damage exceed the amount, we have the welfare, and then we have a loan, and then we have total deduction of this person is 24,188. That means that it is inclusive the taxes and the other deductions. They have a loan balance of 10,000. If they had any other balance, for example, if they had too much damage and it was carried forward, you're going to see it over here. And then we have employer's contribution. It means it's the amount of money the employer contributes to the employee. So we have an SSF, employer, and then we have the housing, employer, because they have to contribute the same amount. And then this person is going to take home 35,811.65. What about if these people are so many and I don't wish maybe to process? You cannot be able to process for every person a payslip one by one. So how do you go through about that? There's a mistake that we did when we were starting this, and I decided to put an email that does not exist. Let me put an email that do exist, because the reason why, because this bulk payslip, they're going to be sent to their emails. So I have to make a few change on that employee, and I need to update that. So I need to add that in my database. Cortez@ca.com. Okay, that is accurate. I've actually updated the employee email so that I can be able to receive the payslip in my email. I'm going to come over here whereby we have the email bulk payslip over here, whereby I'm going to select a month. If I select a month that does not exist, for example, I select maybe May, which our payroll it does not have any record of any payroll, I'm going to receive an error. So with that, I'm going to select the month that we processed the payroll for, which was July. Then we're going to select the year, which is 2025. And then I'm going to email this payslip. It means that every employee within the payroll of that month, who was on that payroll of that month, they're going to receive the payslip in their email. So for example, in my email, the email that I have indicated, it does not have any email of that kind. And I'm going to proceed and email the payslips. I'm going to process that, and then I'm going to wait a little bit. Can be able to see that the payslip found, it's been sent, Then I'm going to wait for an email, to receive an email. And I think by now I already have an email. If I check my email, you can be able to see the company Payroll has sent me an email, which is a payslip. Then I'm going to open it. So, dear Patrick Muthama, please find your payslip for July 2025 attached. Regards Company Ltd. So, it just depends the company. Then I'm going to let's open this. Then we can compare the payslip. This is a payslip that we have. Can be able to see the company's information, and then the name, the gross, similar to the one that we generated previously. Then you can be able to see the allowances, all the deduction are over here. Everything. Then total deduction, the deduction balances, then employer contributions, and then the net salary, which is at 5,811.65. So it means that this one is working very successfully. And at the end of every month, you can be able to be emailing, instead of printing for every employee, you can be able to be emailing them their payslip. So the next question is, how do you actually process the payment? So every bank has their own way of processing their payment. And for the KCB, it's a little bit different. So you're going to come to this section whereby we have the earning breakdown over here. Under the payslip generation, we have earning breakdown, whereby this is a place whereby we can be able to generate all reports, be it for pay, be it for SHA, NSSF. Every report can be generated on this section, or your own personal reports. For example, if I need to generate monthly report over here, you can be able to do that over this section. Need to generate reports, monthly report for July. And then I'm going to generate. I can be able to see that the payroll report has been generated, and I can be able to download that on my Excel sheet. If you need it on PDF, still very, very possible. You can be able to see the only person that was on payroll was only one person, and I can be able to see all the details. For that month, you can be able to see the details of all the employees and the amount, the ID number, their name, gross salary, and etc. And then the total over here. I can be able to access everything just down below here. For the government or something like that, we can also process we can generate reports that are going to help you to file your returns a little bit faster. You don't have to generate them manually. Another thing is that if you need to pay your employees, which is the salary disbursement, that is very possible. And for the KCB, I'm going to come here and generate for the month of July. And then this is the file that I'm going to upload to my bank so that I can be able to process, so that they can be able to process the payment for these employees. So I can be able to generate that file. You can be able to see that it is very, very instant. You can be able to see salary disbursement for the July 2025. So I have all the details. This is the file that I'm going to, it's very, very accurate. This is the file that I'm going to upload to my bank. You can be able to see the debit account, your branch, such things. This differs depending on the bank. And this is the type of file that you're supposed to upload to the bank so that you can be able to process payment of your employees. So at the moment, the details that I've put over here, you can be able to see the amount that they're going to receive. This is the net of their salary after deduction, of course. The bar can be able to see account name, or okay, I put just test information. But for that month, every active employee who is supposed to be on the payroll, this file can be able to be uploaded to the bank. So that is very efficient because it's just a matter of seconds. After processing the payroll and everything, it keeps all the records and etc. like that. So if you need, it depends with the company and the structure. If you need the yearly report, you can be able to. If you need to generate range report, you can be able to generate them over here. You can generate yearly reports. Now, if you need reports to file your returns, they can also be generated over here. The system can be able to generate reports that can be able to help you ease in your work, so that you can be able to file your reports, and can also gives you the amount of money that are supposed to pay, be it for pay, for SHA, and the housing, supposed to generate the amount that you're supposed to pay to the government, and also generate a report that can be able to file, so that it can be able to help you file your report easily. Another thing maybe I forgot to mention, if you also need to send this, if you don't prefer the email to send the payslip to the email, you can also send this to WhatsApp. Just that the WhatsApp, it's paid for, but for the email, you can be able to get, if you're not sending a lot of email, that is free. But if you need to also send it maybe through WhatsApp number, that is very possible through this section. So that is generally how this system currently work. There are few, maybe this is the version 1, you can call it version 1. There are few things that we will add in the future, and I'll keep you updated. If I have a newer version of this payroll, I'll keep you updated. Cheers.